Tenderloin is a district in the city of San Francisco. This is the roughest and toughest. It's about 50 city blocks, and it has 586 high-rise buildings, 37,000 people live in there. Roughly 7,000 homeless population that come through there daily. We have 2 major crimes every hour. It's the highest crime in the city of San Francisco.
Says he's staying put in front of City Hall as he stages a hunger strike to protest, as he describes, the unacceptable conditions of the Tenderloin district.
Says that he is calling on the city to make sweeping changes across the impoverished community that he says has been neglected for years.
City officials say that they have received a list of demands and that they continue to have internal discussions about the situation.
Hey everybody, happy Friday. Ed and I are back for an update. We are 2 of the producers of the 33 Days film team. Ed, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Tony. How are you?
Cool. Ed's in SoCal. I'm up in NorCal, where the Tenderloin, I'm just like 30 minutes from the Tenderloin in San Francisco, where Roger Huang, the featured subject of this film, narrative film, speaking of 33 Days is. And today, our update is going to be a little bit different. This is going to be the first time that's not just us 2, which is great. A couple months ago, so I run a nonprofit in Redwood City, California, and we do screenwriting classes. And I got to meet this wonderful writer who was in one of the workshops. Turns out she's also an actor as well.
Does it happen to be called Bravemaker?
Yeah, Bravemaker.
Right behind you, I see.
That's right. You see my branding here. Yes. So I was doing this workshop, and I was talking about 33 Days, and one of the attendees in the workshop was like, "Hey, I volunteered at City Impact. How can I help?" I was like, "Well, this is awesome." And so we have Megan Louise Thill to join us today.
Hi, Megan.
Thanks for having me.
Heck yeah. So Megan is an actress in the Bay Area and beyond, and she is also writing her own script at this point, and she's jumped on to help us in some really cool ways. She's been exactly what we've been talking about. We've actually talked about your very name because you've been an advocate and a partner in 33 Days in sharing it on your social media, sending personal emails to friends and family, finding ways that we can leverage church partnerships. And so we, Ed and Megan and myself, have been talking and texting about having a live conversation to address some of the questions that she's facing as she talks about the project. So Megan,
this is a perfect time too, because we have about 4 weeks left, little over a month before the WeFunder wraps up. We have till March 31st. So this is perfect time to start focusing on conversations like this. And so I'm excited.
Right on. Yeah, Megan, give us just a quick little update about you, anything else you want to share, and then why you were interested to partner. And let's talk about some of the questions you have or you're finding.
Definitely. Well, and you guys have been so kind to give me shout outs on your updates too. So thank you so much. I'm humbled and just really excited to be part of this project. A little bit about me. My husband and I live in San Francisco. We're from Wisconsin originally, but we've been here for about 5 years. And ever since we moved here, we wanted to get involved in the community and with a church here in San Francisco. And we got in touch with City Impact through a church that we started going to and just fell in love right away. We actually started doing service with them every Thanksgiving for their outreach, and then got more involved with some of their street ministry when they had students come in over spring break, got involved with that. And then some of the conferences that they've had, serving meals, worshiping, doing adoptive building. And then we also have the privilege of sponsoring children with City Impact as well, who can go to school in the Tenderloin. So it's been a really, really cool experience. We've gotten to learn more about Roger's story and meet a lot of the residents in the Tenderloin. And I think that's, one of the biggest reasons that I was excited about being part of this is because I so very much believe in the mission of City Impact, but also just social justice and social change. And how do we do more than just, sit behind our screen and talk about cool things that we could do, but actually get out and do it. And so also being an actor and being really interested in the film industry and how to bridge, my passion for these two things and spread the word, this was like a perfect opportunity. And so that's why I got excited about it and just want to help however I can.
Yeah, thank you, Megan, and I like your shirt. I see that you got
Thank
that
you.
probably one of the volunteer act things you did.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Tony, I think you're muted.
I think you're on mute.
Thank you. As you're chatting with your friends and family about the project, and you've shared on your social media multiple times, what are some of the things, the questions that you're getting? Like people are wondering, hey, what is this? Or how do I get involved? Or why? Tell us some specific things that you're hearing from your friends and family.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the first questions is why would I want to be involved in this? Not me personally, but why would someone want to get involved? There's a lot of great movies out there. Why this film? And what's in it for me? And there's an opportunity to invest and partner in this film financially, but there's also a bigger purpose. And so I think when you're talking with people about how they can partner and be part of promoting this and not just the film, but beyond the film, the question is why should I care? I think that's one question that people have raised.
Yeah, that's cool. I'll start by saying, so both, all of us is really cool. We're all in the entertainment industry, and we also happen to be people of faith too. And so for me, there's always that strong inclination to talk about this grander vision about storytelling and the power of storytelling. Before I really got active in filmmaking and making this part of my life and business, I got swayed out of it because people diminished the idea of film and TV and entertainment as being not really a holy or good use of my time, right? There's better and grander things that I could be doing. And so I went into ministry. I got my bachelor's in youth ministry and religion, and then I got a master's degree in theology, and I got ordained, all these things. And that was really good. But I really started to feel like the growing pains and the hunger to do something more. And sometimes I would even share that, and I would feel judged. I would feel like the look of shame, like, oh, it seems like you're more excited about making a movie than you are about preaching the gospel, or something like that. But I really feel like the call here is for us to see there's a bigger picture. And if we want to talk in terms of how we understand God, I think for me, I think God is in all of these ways proclaiming an opportunity for us to understand the divine, the transcendent. Like, how do we understand our purpose? How do we understand justice? We need stories, and I believe films can do that. Films can change hearts. Stories have the power to change laws. Films have the power to change a city, to change a country, right? To leverage people's voting power. So when I think about 33 Days, I would invite people to invest because of that potential, because this story specifically is that of an underdog and an immigrant underdog who rises above stereotypes and who defies the American dream of getting rich to give himself over to the most vulnerable. I think it's a pretty powerful story to support. Ed, what would you say?
Yeah, for me, I've been searching for authenticity all my life. I have a lot of friends that I really value because I value their integrity, and I've sought organizations to partner with that I felt had an integrity or were authentic. My relationship with Tony, the reason why it's been there for so long is that it's just listening to him. He's very authentic in how he believes his faith and how he lives out his life. And so City Impact is one of those organizations that I really gravitated for because they say what they mean and they do what they say. So there's a lot of, it's grounded in a deep, rich faith in because of Roger, but it also is about getting out in the community and making a difference and planting seeds. And not everything is perfect. Not everything always works out, but there's countless examples of lives changed as a result of Roger and what he's done for the Tenderloin for over 35 years. So for me, to get involved in this project is you're getting involved with something that's truly authentic, that's truly active, that's truly changing lives in a real way. And so that's pretty exciting to be a part of it because it's an active mission. It's something that's there that people can get involved with right now. So we hope to bring out that message in a big way to get people to say, hey, in your own community, you can also do the same thing. Roger isn't necessarily the all trained up or he knows everything about it. He just delivered. He just came and was faithful, and he believed what God said. He believed, and followed through with it. That's pretty powerful. We want, hopefully, can recreate that in communities around the world and around America.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think another interesting part of this too for me is, being pretty new into, the film community is what does Christian film look like? Because I think there's a perception out there, we've seen a lot of different types of films, some great, some maybe not so great, some maybe a little cheesy. And, I think this is a great opportunity to, show people like ministry can be messy, but it can also be really beautiful, and it can happen on screen or behind the camera. And for some people, I think this would be an opportunity to say, oh, maybe I could do that. Maybe I could be part of something like that. And maybe my story is worth telling. I think a lot of people may think that the things that they're doing in their communities or, in their homes, I mean, goodness, with the pandemic and everything too, I can only imagine the stories of how people have been able, either struggled or been able to be part of something bigger, than what we see on the media, certainly. And I think creating films like this is a really great way to get people involved, but also have their stories be told.
Yeah,
For
definitely.
sure.
What makes this film distinct and stand out is not only we were just talking about the authenticity; it's an active mission. Roger, as an Asian immigrant from Taiwan, also stands out as the lead character to have an Asian actor take on that role.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that's really special is that normally faith-based films are a domestic, play. They come out, they're really well because there's a base here in America for people that want that content and want to see that. Because of the nature of Roger and his background in coming from Taiwan, we have the ability to market and show this film internationally, which gives us a better opportunity just to open up more doors and open up the opportunity to bring in a return. So that also is one of the things that kind of makes the film unique and stand out from the rest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tony, you and I were messaging a little bit earlier about church leaders and church communities specifically, how we can pull them into this. Because, I've been talking with family and friends. I have different church communities I've been a part of. And I think, everyone is so busy, right? And especially with the pandemic, everyone's learning, what does church look like now? In my communities, if it's smaller groups, like, why would I want to be part of something like this? And I guess that is one of the challenges, I think, is how do we tell people what this is about, provide that incentive to be part of something that is beyond, like I said, just the film itself, for some of those church leaders or other organizations that are just a little skeptical, maybe.
Yeah. The cool part for me is that I am still working with the church. So I do work part-time with a local church in California, Marin County, California, called The Quest. And we're having these very same discussions with our leadership team and our congregation about what does it mean for us to be the church, right? Especially through quarantine, as you said, but even beyond, this conversation has been like pressing on us as people of faith for quite some time. And we've seen, especially this year, churches have to close their doors metaphorically and literally because they haven't survived the pandemic. But a lot of churches are just dying because they're irrelevant, right? They're not able to change and adjust to the times. And I think our needs as people have to we've got to find ways to, again, leverage stories. Stories, I think, are the most important thing. We can push down, theology and do, Sunday school curriculums as much as we want. But if we're not really connecting with each other as humans, then I think we're going to miss the point. And so I think for me, what I would speak to, if you're a church leader or someone who's working with a church and you're wondering, why would we want to get involved with this? I think this is something where it helps us look externally as churches. And I'm speaking for myself as a pastor. I'm constantly looking at, how do I help people grow in their faith? How do I help people be better parents? How do I help students and young people thrive with all the pressures and the bullying and the social media that the messages they're continually bombarded with? I'm continually focused on my people. And in this way, I think sometimes what we have to do, or we get to do, is say to our people, what can we do outside of us? Because sometimes when we look outside of us, which is exactly what Roger did, that really engages our faith. One of my friends that I was in church with for years upon years would never attend one of my small groups. Now, as a pastor, I've led hundreds, if not thousands of small groups. He'd be like, stop asking me. I do not want to be a part of your curriculum. I don't want to be a part. I don't want to hear 8-week series on whatever, like godly masculinity. I don't want that. But when I took him to the Tenderloin to serve at one of the conferences, it was like his life changed. He was like, this is what I want to do. I need more of this. The church needs to stop doing all these things where we get people to come to the church building and sit in a circle and hold the Bible and read. And they need to start living the pages of the Bible and going out and serving. And I think there's something pretty powerful in that. So in this way, when I think about the film, I think this is an invitation for us to give maybe a group, there's a percentage of people who aren't engaged in their faith, and this might do it for them. I'm not saying it's going to be for everybody, but it just helps us open the door for more people to get engaged. And there are people who have finances and resources who want to do something great and big with them. Well, making a movie is pretty big. And there's also people who may not have, it's only $100 to invest, but maybe you don't want to invest money, but you can invest like what Megan is doing and saying, I'll host a Zoom call. I'll talk about it with my friends. I'll get our small group to whatever, to rally behind the film and share it with other people. I think those are so many ways you might see people's faith really level up, because we're all looking for something. Sometimes we got to, if I'm honest, I get a little bored too, being the guy who's preaching every 8 weeks, a new sermon. I'm like, really? Another? Can I just like show a movie and talk about it? Which is kind of what we do with my church anyways, but that's what I do.
This is also, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Megan. I was going to say if Ed wanted to add anything, because I talked too much.
That's good. That's a great sermon.
Ouch. I mean, I think the other opportunity here, which is a little bit different, and this is something I've kind of asked myself too, is there's an investment opportunity, which when in faith-based communities, that's a very different concept, because a lot of faith-based organizations and efforts are donation-based, which is wonderful. And I think people love giving and knowing that they're not going to see it again and they want to do that. But this is an investment opportunity. So can you guys talk a little bit about that and any feedback you've gotten from people in the faith-based community or others that are just saying like, I like the idea of maybe making some money off of this and investing in something, but I have some challenging thoughts about how that, may work with my preconceived notions about it.
Great question.
Yeah, this is a unique project in the sense that, there is a faith-based built-in audience, but it is a unique story. It's about, it's kind of gritty. It's kind of, we talk about homeless and marginalized people and somebody. So it doesn't necessarily fit the complete mold of what you would think of a Christian faith-based movie. But it's very, very faith-based. It's very radical. It's very living out the scriptures, as Tony says. So there's an aspect of the film that I feel like it will resonate with a lot of people. And really the opportunity is there to go along the whole journey, to come behind the scenes. And so when Tony brought the opportunity of WeFunder, it just made sense for us. We were kind of hesitant to say, should we let the world know about this? We want to just kind of let certain investors know and just knock on doors and try to, what's great about WeFunder is that we've allowed the community to get behind it. We allowed the community to say, this is what we want to get behind. This is what we believe in. This is something that we want to see it out there in a big way. And so it allows people to have a real investment and then see the journey behind the scenes. And yeah, we do have certain things that you can, if you invest a certain amount, there are perks similar to like Kickstarter, Indiegogo. But really, it's about the community that we're building, and we're be able to journey with them, with like-minded individuals that are all about what Roger's doing and the mission of City Impact.
Yeah. Yeah, well, this is a great start to this conversation that we want to have. And Megan, we'd love to have you back, because this is good for us. Because, for us to not be the two people talking every week mixes it up for us. But we love this support. And Mark Anthony, who's been on a couple times too, and in supporting the film. Yes, this will inspire many to be missionaries in their own cities. And yeah, that we didn't even touch on that, the fact that this could engage people to do what Roger is doing. And you probably have heard us talk about this before, but we are more than just making a movie, right? We want to have a conversation, but we also have this year-long vision to take this movie to different cities in the United States as a road show once it's safe and everybody's vaccinated. And we can do these types of outreach to urban spaces, just like Roger and City Impact does in the Tenderloin, and really ignite city centers and churches and people of faith and nonprofit organizations and the average, ordinary, extraordinary human being to really make a difference. So that's the heart behind this. It's not just making a movie, it's so much more. So Megan, thank you so much for being a part of this. And if anybody has any questions, Ed, do you have any final thoughts? You want to share anything before we take
Yeah,
off?
we're working on it. We're not announcing the date right now, but we are working on something similar to this in a larger way where we'll invite everybody who's invested everybody who's invested so far, and anybody who does have more questions or wants to just meet with the team. We're going to do a private Zoom coming up as we kind of lead into the final weeks of the WeFunder, and so we'll announce that probably next week. So we'll have something to share, and maybe Megan will be involved with that too.
Sign me up.
Right on. It's
Thank
in
you
the
guys
chat.
so much.
If you're watching live, thank you, Megan. Or if you're watching on the replay, you can see 33daysfilm.com is linked in our chat, and we welcome you to go. It's only $100 minimum investment, and we're really grateful to say we're at $111,300. So, but we have big dreams. We have big dreams to get to $300,000, and this could launch us into production once safe at the end of summer potentially. So we are very aspirational in this and hope you will join us. Thanks so much, everybody. See you next time.